Race number 1, this is how things look for the first on the program. $2.50 for Maria Dior, $4.20 press release Our Hail Mary, $4.40. It's the Cavallo Farm and Chris Rutten Bloodstock, $1,200. Stephen Hunt to Maria Dior. I've noted that this is shortened. Is that weight of money?
It's about 4 or 5 on the race card, which we will touch on in the coming moments. That could have been clearly the best bat runner at the top of the show, Jason, but I did go with Platinum Invader in the last, obviously. But this is another notable shortener, number 3, Maria Dior, $2.50 trading off a peak of $3.10. Clearly the best bat runner in the first. The only other runner that has had some sort of money is number 5, Our Hail Mary, a filly by Ocean Park, well bred on the dam side, closely related to She's Sensational, who Alan Sharrock did also train. Our Hail Mary was very good on the eye, $4.40 on opening, got as short as $4.20, just drifted back out to $4.40 on the warm support of the favourite, Maria Dior. But just keep a notable eye on where that price finishes on the the third favourite, Our Hail Mary. But clearly the best bat runner is number 3, Rosie Myers does the riding, Maria Dior.
Very well named as Our Hail Mary out of the mare Repenting. I'm not sure. We'll save that for Sunday, maybe. This is the map brought to you by Form Pro. Maria Dior, one of the horses that you'd expect to go forward, although there's a bit of speed inside her. Wings, Capelin and also Press Release. How did you assess this first race, Bevan Sweeney?
Well, I agree with what we see there. Capelin, Wings, I think they push forward, and I'd be surprised if Maria Dior does not go up and lead. Go past those two, and that should give Press Release a pretty good sit in the race. You'll see Our Hail Mary, Floral Belt and Platinum Mamselle all getting back. Whether Capelin and Wings can go on with it is a question mark for me, so that leaves Maria Dior out there, ready to be shot down. But she is a pretty good mare, or filly this by Rip Van Winkle. She broke 34 seconds home at Trentham in her most recent run, and although beaten 2.5 lengths behind Cavallo Veloce, it wasn't a bad effort. She did a lot of the donkey work in this particular race, and a couple got a soft sit on the big wide open track of Trentham, which is markedly different to Otaki Māori, which you have that tight turn at the top and they can be off and gone and stealing a bit of a break. And I think that's what Maria Dior will do here today. This was a pretty strong sort of form race, and I thought she was brave enough. She shouldn't be unduly hindered by the slow track conditions. I thought she'd put herself there and should get a very soft run in the race once she clears those inside 2 runners, which I think she should do pretty comfortably in the run to the line. She's smart, but there are some nice horses here. Press Release was very good winning over Wallaceville. Now, hard to really frank that race up. I don't think it was overly strong, so you'd expect it to win there. So it's got to step up today. This horse did something in New Plymouth which is pretty difficult to do. It's a lovely, lovely filly by Ocean Park. It's got a fair few gears. It got back on the inside here at New Plymouth, and so it had to be pretty good to pick them up. And once Rumu got this horse out to the centre of the track, it really flattened out nicely. I spoke to Alan Sharrock through the week. He really does rate this horse. He thinks it's going to go through the grades pretty quickly. So you'd expect a run from this horse if they get reasonable sort of tempo, which I think is a question mark with Maria Dior getting there and maybe pulling up stumps for a period of this race. This horse can really fly home late. I am going to go with Maria Dior just because it'll get first use of the track, so the rail probably okay. It'll push forward, land on speed. And the 2 just in behind it, and Wings, I know there is a bit of ability there. The trial was good, and Capelin, who's got a bit of speed early, I'm not sure they can push on past Maria Dior. So that sets up for those behind it to try and make a run. I just assess it as that I don't think they can get across the top of Maria Dior out in front. So it's on top. I thought Our Hail Mary, with a decent sort of tempo, should hit the line nicely. I wasn't willing to let go Platinum Mamselle. I think that's a fair sort of horse as well. And Press Release, look, it won nicely enough at its most recent start. It has to take a step up. This is stronger grade, but 3, 5, 4 and 1 in race number 1 on the program.
Race 2 is a good race. It's the Otaki Māori, the Otaki Male, also over 1,200 metres, and it features Hanger with Onanoa, Molini and Sasso Corbaro, a recent acquisition for Jamie Richards, a daughter of All Too Hard, that will race in the China Horse Club colours. Hanger there, Stephen Hunt is obviously the favourite. Is that the horse that's attracted most support?
Clearly decent go on number 2, Hanger. Contested the Group 1 Telegraph last start a few weeks back. Prior to that did win in a similar field, rating 82 company in the CD. $3.40 top peak, now on $2.90. Holds around about 70% of total turnover in race 2, meeting 4. Onanoa, $4.60, remains that price, that opening line. Onanoa, Sam Spratt looks to be a pace influencer from barrier 1. Now, Sasso Corbaro, interesting runner you mentioned, Jason, a former Aussie. Jamie Richards now doing the training for this individual. by all too hard. Look, its ratings do stack up from Australia coming to a race like this, but just would have wanted to see a little bit more money. I feel that it probably needs one run from what I'm seeing, so just take note around the former Aussie, $4.50 out to $5. Merlini's cold, 6 out to $6.50. Sweepstake also freezing, 6 out to 7. And Vinny's Volley, that's the only other runner, spec'd at longer odds, 11 into 9.
Had a track gallop Sasso Cabarro, I understand, at Ellerslie on Avondale Cup and Guineas Day. Looking at the map, however, and I suppose the way that this track could play, as you've discussed already, Sweens, is that there's good pace in the race. Hanger should sit just off them, and if they're coming off the rail, this really should suit Hanger superbly, whereas maybe yesterday I'd look at it and say, well, the rail and Onanoir leading up might be a good thing. It sort of dampens my enthusiasm, what you've already discussed.
I'm with you, because I had Onanoir on top. I've changed my mind, and I'm going to make my best bet on the program Hanger. With all that speed on in front in this particular race, I thought this horse was exceptional at our opinion. Now, I think there's a few issues, maybe just feels its joints at times, so staying out of the track, I'm not massively concerned about that. I know it's had 2 starts on the slow going and missed both occasions. It has one on a heavy track. This was exceptional this day. It really was a performance, because the Blonde Line is a very good free-going type of horse, and it travelled up on its back very, very comfortably, and Blonde Line can really cut out early sectionals. So I was impressed with this. The horse is going to get that split, and it is going to be dominant late. It's got a very good turn of foot. If it gets very good speed in front of it, where did I end up mapping? I thought it would get back, but the speed's good enough, and it's going to come out wide in the track conditions. That's soft over a mare who won, what, 4 in a row? Blonde Line, unfortunately injured post that Blonde Line, so we won't see her for 12 months, but that was a win. Now, you forgive them one went that big fresh up, that you forgive them that second run up if they've just got that little bit of edge taken off them. So he's on top for me, Hanger. He's going to be my bet of the day. 290, he's probably found his mark, but geez, got some ability. I'll stick with Onanoir for second, because that's going to be in that leading position. I think it'll hold the inside, although it doesn't hold a very good fresh up record. Sweepstake comes out of the Telegraph. Now, it was a bit of a throw at the stumps that day. I thought she might have gone a little bit better, but we know that race, you know, rail inside 3 metres was very, very key. She does have good ability, Sweepstake. And then, look, Merlini with the blinkers on, that'll go one of 2 ways, Jace. Won't it, with Merlini? Either we'll have a brain explosion, or the horse will sit down and concentrate and really run through the line strongly and do everything right. So it's in there as an each-way chance, Merlini, but I'm very keen on the 2 in the book here, Hanger, as a great bet on the program.
And that track pattern just enhances its claims, you would suggest, if that inside is inferior to 3 or 4 metres off the rail. Okay, race number 3, and this is how things stack up for the Riverstone Cafe 1400. Malibik is 424, 40 for Awesome Mel, 480 Blue on Black. You've got Castani and Torre del Greco, and Quaff is now out to $15. It's short of the Tote Matthew Cross's best of the program. Spread of money here, Stephen. What can you inform us about?
Plenty of shifts early doors in this market, Jason. There's 3 or 4 which I'll just quickly mention. Firstly, the opening fave, number 1, Blue on Black. And Herbert, now based in Alpuni, it's had a couple of trials, latest being a winning trial. It has been friendless, opened at $3.60, now to $4.80. It won't be winning today, number 1, Blue on Black, from what I'm seeing. Malibik well supported now in that top line of betting at $4.20 off a peak of $4.60. Awesome Al well supported at $4.40, the local, that is its opening line. And the couple that have specced at long odds I've identified here, punters in early doors. Number 8, Castani, Opie Boston does the riding, 9 into 7. And also Torre del Greco, opened at $12, now trading at 9, one of the worst liabilities up and down the 8 race card today. So there's a couple there specking at longer odds, but notably number 1, Blue on Black, won't be winning for punters.
It's pretty important, because it was 4th in the James and Annie Sarton Memorial. Madison County was 3rd in that race, came out of it and won the 2,000 guineas, a sort of Osmond Chiji Express. It was a sprint home. It was a dawdle of a race, as farcically run, but still to run 4th behind that quality of opposition is a recommendation. It has won at the trials. Mertens, Heineken Rocks, Malibik and Benno, runners that could feature in this early on. Bevan Sweeney, your thoughts on the 3rd?
I thought this was quite a tough race. Now, Torre del Greco was Dez's bet on the program this morning, so I understand the money coming there. Castani's promised a lot and hasn't really delivered. Much better last time, only beaten a length. Look, I thought when I first looked at it, I thought, well, Castani will push across and sit outside the lead, and that'll give this horse every chance. But Malo Blick, you got Burno in there, Quaff's likely to push forward. Heineken Hank, he's going to be in the mix early as well. So I thought it was a difficult race. I don't really understand the drift on the top of the book and blue on black. This is a Golden White Camelot. I love these Camelots. As you mentioned, the run for 4th at Tarapa, very good behind a smart horse. Gee, I love this trial. This was very, very good to my eye. But you've got Miss Labassa in the orange just in behind it, and this horse gives it the go-by. And I think Miss Labassa did tie up this day, so there's excuses. She didn't really let down, but Blue and Black soft at the line and really showed a lot of stretch. It's about as good a trial you'll see. So I don't understand the drift. I understand the weight maybe being an issue, but that horse there on that trial and the form out of the run behind Sword of Osman against this field should be winning. So the drift, I think, is giving you an outstanding price on this horse. Outside of that, look, Quaff's going to love these track conditions. Now, this horse mentally is a little bit unsound. You'll set out the back parade ring. It sort of goes a little bit dizzy, if that's the right word. It'll kick out and be a little bit disconcerted out in the back parade. And once it gets out on the track, it's okay. I think the track conditions really suit it. Thought it was really unlucky behind Queen of the Year, who's a pretty smart sort of horse. Should have run much, much closer to that fresh up. So I'm expecting Quaff to run a race from that draw. Also, Mel, very good to run second behind Bellissimo. And then I had Castani from a wide go. Opie Boston up. It will put itself there, so should be able to pick the place in the track that it wants to get home. But yeah, I'm against the drift here. I'm blue on black, Jace. I love that trial coming into today.
Yeah, that's interesting. Stephen Hunt suggesting not much money for it, and Bevan Sweeney seeing the opportunity, and also giving us an excellent impersonation of Quaff, the horse. Race number 4, the dizzy horse evidently, Sunran Spa. It's the maiden over 1600. We've got Thutmosis and also Lincoln Fury sharing favouritism here, Stephen, at $3.20.
Tricky race to give punters a lead. Light in turnover thus far, Jason. Excuse me, Lincoln Fury, Thutmosis, $3.20 each of 2. Probably matched dollar for dollar between the 2 favourites here, and the 1, the 6, 6 and the 1. In front of Swift Sersha, $6.50 out to 7. Look, if there was a lead outside the top 3 or 4 I've already mentioned, it would be Madonna at $23. Now, the Rainers do the training here. Larry Cassidy does the riding. Just purely on pedigree, they might be going here. Punters, Madonna, Rip Van Winkle, and a Material Girl, who managed to win 6 races on a heavy/slow track conditions. That might be one that they're speccing because of the track conditions today being a slow 7 Madonna, but really outside that, not too much to mention.
Here's a quick look at the Form Pro speed map, and Sweens, how did you assess the form alongside of this?
Well, I just saw this race being dominated on speed because saw absolutely no real zip at all apart from Thutmosis, so it should get every chance today to be winning Thutmosis. Look, I don't think this horse is going to go bang, bang, bang and go 65, 75 and through the grades quickly, but in a race here, but there's just nothing in behind Thutmosis to sort of put any pressure on. This horse has run home okay. Took Beyond the Fort, who was very good on debut, to get across the top of it last start, and Gerda, who flew from the clouds and takes its place here this afternoon, had to get across the top of it when it led up on that occasion. So just by default, really, I thought this race was just a speed-dominated affair, so I went with the 1 on top. Run lead's going nice enough. If there was good speed, then Tyro's got all the ability to win this race. I just don't see it there. And Lincoln Fury in the last couple of runs has promised a little bit, but I'm just going purely on the speed map in this race. Thutmosis gets it soft and will be very tough to beat.
Race number 5, you spoke of Beyond the Fort, competes in the 5th at Otaki, and this is how things shape up there. Platinum Wildcard is $2.80. Look, he was good, winning a rating 65 at Whanganui back in early January, and since then has gone down by narrow margins to Miss Doherty and Abbey Road. Harlem & Co. there at $4.60. Owen Patrick Bosson. Gerda there is the second favourite, $4. Horse number 6, the Daughter of Denman, trained by Emma Davis. Is it about Platinum Wildcard, or what can you report on this betting-wise, Steve?
Interesting runner, number 1, Platinum Wildcard. The mile will really test this individual. I see the connections have taken off the blinkers, and that's maybe purely that the horse can see the attackers late in the piece because it's been bombed in its last 2 occasions running second. $2.80 off a peak of $3.60. Punters pretty keen on number 1, Jason, with Robbie Hannum doing the riding here. In front of Gerda, who's been well supported at $4, but Platinum Wildcard holds 5 times more money than the second favourite in Gerda at $4. So Punters pretty happy if you shopped early doors around number 1 at $3.60. Harlem & Co just accepted a $2,000 bet at $5 around Harlem & Co, now $4.60. And beyond those 3 runners, every other runner has been a notable drifter. But Punters pretty keen on Platinum Wildcard, even though it's been a bridesmaid in its last 2 encounters.
Certainly quite like the horse when it's allowed to roll at an even, genuine tempo in front. Platinum Wildcard, and look, Swiss L and Harlem & Co are other potential pace setters in the race, but even though the blinkers come off, swing, look, is that an indicator as to how they are intending to ride it, do you think? I just quite like the horse rolling along and doing its own thing, and, you know, setting sectionals that are hard to run down and potentially being better here.
Look, I might have missed a trick here because I haven't got Platinum Wildcard in 4. In my selections, I think the mile will test it. I think these off-track conditions will test it. I think the weight's going to be a test, and I think it's had every chance to win its last couple in this type of grade. So I'm just going for a little bit more value on horses who I have seen a fair bit of stretch about. Gee, Harlem & Co at Wanganui was exceptional. It's now with Emily Holmes. It was a winner here very early on in its career. It's had some injury issues. It's now with Emily, and she's got this horse flying. It was really good at Trentham, really wanted to attack the line, charged late behind Mick Jean and went down by a very short margin. I think the mole absolutely perfect for this horse. The draw's fantastic. I think it gets every chance in the run. Cleaver, the run behind Abbey Road, good enough. I thought it was exceptional at New Plymouth, and I think he's got a bit of ability, although the draw may be against him late in the piece. Gerda, what a run that was. It came from last, and not many horses did it on that today to beat Thutmosis. Very good behind Over the Top. He's gone on and won down South Post, that performance. And then Beyond the Fort. Look, I know Bill was a bit surprised that it won over the 1,600 metres on debut, but it was very good as well. So you've got a line between Gerda and Beyond the Fort, who have both beaten Thutmosis late in their races, but I'm just impressed with Harlem & Co. I think a horse that's had some injury issues won't mind a little bit of cut out of the track, and it's really, really attacked the line across its first 2 starts. I can see it winning this at some reasonable sort of money, so playing against the fave, probably at my peril, possibly at my peril, but just got a couple of niggles around the top of the book.
Yeah, maybe we'll get one of those nice runs with Swiss L, a horse that does go hard in front as well, with Platinum Wildcard there. Maybe we could just slot it in behind. So, intriguing race, race number 5. Race 6, this is the El Cheapo Cars at Ocoa Cup over 2,200 metres. Filar, $2.90, and Solsafe, $3.20. There have been a few moves amongst those two, Stephen?
Yeah, there has been, Jace. I think it's purely down to track conditions. A slow 7. Filar open $2.60 out to $2.90. Where Solsafe really does have that wet track form on the board compared to Filar, $3.50 and a $3.20. And I wouldn't be surprised if number 7 started in that top line of betting later on this afternoon in front of Filar. A few of these interesting runners at the top of the book. In a benchmark race, they get a hefty weight, even though a few of them claiming. One of them being Samson, 14 to 10. Down to 62.5 with that 3 kg claim, and also well supported has been Alenko Prince, 10 into 9, all in vogue with the slow 7 track conditions on paper, friendless, $7.50 out to $8.50, and also Kamada Lincoln, 9 out to 10. So best lead I can give is Solsafe with a chance of being favourite later on this afternoon. Okay,
this is the map for the Ocoa Cup, and Samson, look at the pace in this race I thought was nightmarish, Bevan. Do you think that Samson might be the leader, or were you sort of thinking that All in Vogue and Solsafe might be able to work across with Zach Brown, a horse that sort of sat close to the pace as well?
Well, I thought Zach Brown would lead from that wide draw. I think they'll push forward and lead on him. I think Samson will take a sit with his weight. You've got a Linko, Fila, Rock On and Commander Lincoln who definitely go back. They've got no early muster at all. So if Zach Brown comes across, Samson takes a sit, then Solsafe, All in Vogue, both get runs, one off in a pretty comfortable sort of position. Solsafe is an interesting one. I'm not sure they're convinced this horse now handles a slow track condition. I know it says that in the race book, but that was much earlier on in its career. I thought they had a couple of niggles, and I spoke to Jonathan on Thursday on the long drive home, and he wasn't sure if they got a lot of rain this horse would even start, but Jamie's elected to line it up, and it is a horse that will really, really try. It's got a very honest sort of attitude about it. Look, I was very keen on All in Vogue. I was hoping the track conditions were going to be that little bit better. It was my value on the program, actually, because its last start, it was it was off the track behind Flamingo, who's flying. It was only beaten 3 lengths, and 2,200 metres will suit this horse this afternoon. You just forgive the run behind Consensus. It was good fresh up. It was a big run fresh, just took the shine off at second up. I thought, okay, third up. Has been very capable in these types of races. I thought it was great money at $8.50. Yes, the slow track conditions will play against, but I'm just willing to go with it from that draw to find a nice spot in the run. Over Filar, although the drift will come, I'm sure the track conditions are concerned. Salsafe's in the mix, and look, I saw Rock On trial midweek, and he was very, very good. He got Satellite a long way from home, and he was strong to the line. Sam O'Malley taking 4 kilos off his back, and just note that horse that won that trial, Jace, Rock On Wood for Lee and Elliott. Wherever that lines up, you can pretty sure it's going to win.
Well, very promising horse. Rock On Wood is a 3-year-old, obviously has been off the scene for a significant amount of time, but noted will be favouriting that, if I can possibly do that on the TAB website and find it. But yeah, Rock On you'd think would be Satellite, and would need to be Satellite, because you wouldn't expect the pace to be that strong throughout. Okay, so the Honui Farm Wait for Age Group 1 Classic is race number 7. And at 14 minutes past 4, they'll be boxed and loaded. So Melody Bells, $2.90. Volpe Veloce, $5.50. Don't forget the Punters Lounge Live special. Volpe Veloce looks the main shortener here, Stephen, and Melody Bell yesterday was $2.80. So obviously a reaction there.
There's been a few twists and turns between the 8 and the 9. Look, there was early money on Melody Bell on Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning. Then we saw a real big drive around number 9, Volpe Veloce, to get its price in from $6.50 into $5.50 Thursday afternoon, and most of the day Friday around Volpe Veloce's drawn barrier 3, Troy Harris doing the riding. But just this morning, Melody Bell has clearly been the most popular runner, Jason, in trading. We've accepted a $4,000 bet at $2.90, a number of 4-figure bets, including $1,500 and $2,000 at $2.90, Melody Bell. She currently holds 2 times more money than Volpe Veloce. So if you asked me the question yesterday, I would have said Volpe Veloce best bet runner, but now with the money we've seen this morning, the first 4 or 5 hours of trading, it's Melody Bell looking to go 4 Group 1s this season. Bostonian 11 into $8.50, but I think he's found his mark now at 8.5. Bostonian. Endless Drama, notable drifter here, $7.50 at $8.50. Sapira was well supported during the week, 15 into 11, but again, I think she's found her mark. And More Wonder, the 3-year-old, you're just not sure what you're going to get out of the gates, but he has been a notable drifter, not keen around this time of the year. The weight scale, Wait for Age, 55 on his back, 10 out to 14. And just a quick mention on Rock On Wood. We'll be starting on Wednesday at Hawke's Bay, Jason, and a rating 72, Rock On Wood, number 1 in race 8.
Oh, you'll be giving us heaps for that, won't you? You'll no doubt give us a great price. Just a quick chat on Endless Drama before we get to the map and Bevan Sweeney. We've seen quite a number of Australian trained runners over the summer here. Notably, Longleaf was successful in the Karaka Million 3-year-old Classic, but we've seen some 3-year-olds that haven't gone so well. A couple from Chris Waller's barn, Botti and Nobu, and Tolmac. We saw a horse line up in the Telegraph as well before going to the BCD Sprint. Endless Drama, the money, sort of what you'd expect, or were you expecting more?
Just weren't sure, Jason, to be fair. Look, going deep into his form, the question mark was probably a true 1,600 metres. All his real strong group form has been over 12 and 1,400 metres. Look, he is the 4th best bet runner, so he sits probably where he is in the market, in that 4th line of betting at $8.50, Jason. Maybe we're a little bit cautious early doors when we open him at $7.50, but I think he's found his mark. I don't think we're going to be seeing a huge truck of money like we did with Longleaf in the Karaka Million 3-year-old race over the mile a few weeks back, late part of Jan. Endless Drama, $8.50. I can just see there's too much money around the favourites, Melody Bell and Volpe Veloce, to make sure that $8.50 will hold up.
Here's the map. Over to you, Bevan Sweeney, for your assessment of the race.
Oh, well, I found it very difficult, and the horse that sort of sticks in my claw a bit is Choice Attitude, and exactly what that horse does. I watched the first school yesterday. I wasn't quite as convinced that Melody Bell and Consensus can get there that easily, but she's got all the quality and all the attitude, even if she works in the run, that she's going to be right there at the line, because Choice Attitude, I can't see them changing pattern, even though they're well out of their grade, that they will kick up. I think Shadow's Cast is showing as much zip out of the gates as any horse in the senior ranks at the present moment. So he's going to be right there, possibly outside Choice Attitude. And then the two runners, Consensus and Melly Bell, well, they have to decide whether they want to work and get across to that leading position down the back, or they try and take a sit in behind those two. I think they've got the ability clearly to get there, but they might just have to work a little bit down the back. So Melody Bell, she's the benchmark. It's hard to go away from what she has done this preparation. The last up run was all attitude, really. I thought at the 200 metre mark there was no chance that she would win. She ended up doing that, so she just has my respect, and she should have the respect of all the runners in this particular race. It's an interesting race. You mentioned Endless Drama. I want to be against this horse. The draw's probably a bit of a niggle now from an inside gate. Look, it missed away at its most recent start. Here's Melody Bell. I thought at this point, well, I don't think she's going to get there, but then Troy's changed ground again, and she just wants to win. Volpe Veloce out wide, very good. Bostonian looked to have it shot to pieces at this point. You think, well, she can't get past these horses late, but she does. And I think she's as strong on the line as Volpe Veloce, don't you? I think she is going just as well as Volpe. She got back and she got out in the centre of the track. She was very, very good. Just that couple of posies further back in the run probably played against her, but if she gets a run, I think they'll be a bit more positive and try and keep her forward. Here's Endless Drama. Now, look at the horse missing away here. And then what happens? As he gets beaten 4.5 lengths now. I know everyone's going to say it's Tom Melbourne, but give Tom Melbourne a bit of credit. He is a pretty serious sort of racehorse, and I know a lot of people like to knock him, but he won this race, and he's a very good horse, if not overly genuine at times. But this horse is exceptional. After missing the start by that far to get within 4 lengths, whether this franks strongly against Melody Bell and Volpe Veloce, I'm not 100% sure, but I won't be putting a line through this horse on that effort, because if it jumps away with them, doesn't it run right next to him? I think it does. So it's got a fair bit of ability, international flavour here with Larry Cassidy and Chris Waller. So all that said, I'm not going to go against the 8 Melody Bell, the 9 Volpe Veloce, the other 2 benchmarks. I think Endless Drama could be right in the mix here. And don't count out Shadow's Cast. He's a different horse this preparation. After that heart fib down at Riccarton, he has come back, looked sensational, run up to those looks. To win at Thorndon from an outside gate, put himself across on speed, and to show that sort of determination says that he's a good horse, and he's really found his mojo. We identified him as a young horse, Jason. He's just taken time, and I think time has been his friend. And I know the slow track conditions probably play against him more than like the Volpe Veloces, the Bostonians and Melody Bells of this world, but he's got the wins on the board, and that's a big factor, and he'll be right on speed.
Yeah, he's been in career best form his last 2 starts, and therefore now a Group 1 winner, Shadow's Cast. Looking forward to the Honui Farm Wait for Age at Otaki. Race number 8, this is how things stack up for the last. We've got Platinum Invader, and you've already spoken about this, Stephen. I assume that there's not much else to report, or is there?
Not really, Jason. $2.50 top peak when betting commenced on Thursday around Platinum Invader, now $2.10. And wouldn't be surprised if he touched red later on this afternoon. Chris Johnson does the riding. He's a $21 chance for the Derby in 7 days' time. Rock Your Socks, $6.50 up to $7.50. He's a 101 chance for the Derby in 7 days' time. Outside that, if you want to maybe Quinella, the stablemates in Platinum Invader and Chartwell 13 into 11 has been the only other runner that's come in from an opening line. Original Gangster, Opie Bosson, a $2.80 favourite for the J Challenge, Opie Bosson. That's been a notable drifter, 9 out to 12, Original Gangster. Yeah, Nike mentioned outside that there's really not too much to talk about other than number 7, the Son of Redwood, to finish in the punters' eyes, hopefully a lot of multis.
Yeah, hoping that's going to be the case, that it wins, and that would vault it to 19th in the order of entry for the Vodafone New Zealand Derby. This is the speed. There is some speed with All in Stitches and Fictitious. There are a lot of horses, though, Sweens, that have generally got back. So certainly if you're Chris Johnson on Platinum Invader, you wouldn't want to be left flat-footed when the sprint goes on.
No, look, this is the throw at the stumps, isn't it? So he won't be back there. I know they're trying to train him to win a derby, so they've been sitting back and trying to come across the top of them. But when you're or in a situation like today, where you see that speed map, I think you'd be putting him forward of midfield, one off if you can find a spot like that, because he needs to be winning here this afternoon. And of course, Lisa has quite a few hands in that derby. You'll get into 19, does your Nate run? You know, what's the mix going to be there? She's also got Lincoln Falls in the mix as well, clearly. I think he's just winning, and I think the price earlier was great, $2.10, $2. I still think that's okay around a horse who's probably going to line up in a derby. Fictitious is tough, and she'll love these track conditions. She'll put herself right there. She doesn't lie down on her run, so she'll be tough. A winner here. Over the page to the 9 in the book, Jace, that being Shisot Unlucky in the Oaks Prelude. Very good when winning prior to that, and then over the top. Can't fault winning form, and over the top's won 2 of its last 3 up to the 2100 metres, was good enough over the 18. So I marked them 7 to beat 6, 9 and 1, but Platinum Invader should be winning the last on the program. Hanger's going to be my best on the program. I think assessing that race now with the speed and the way the track I suggest will play, I think he's got all the ability to win that particular race. All in Vogue is my value bet. I'll have 50 to win on Hanger, 25 on All in Vogue, and we'll spend the other 25, Jason, we'll go Hanger into Platinum Invader in the last multi, those 2 up. And what are we going to get? Around about 7 to 1, so we'll get 180 for $25 there. So 2 and 7, I think they're 2 pretty good bets on the program. We'll multi those up, but all set and ready. The cloud seems to be clearing a bit. Jason, I don't think we're going to get any more rain on the program, but I don't think we'll either get an upgrade as well throughout the afternoon with the rain that has fallen over the last 24 hours.